which will be presenting Paco or
I have an uncle. I have never actually met this uncle because when I was born 11 years ago, he was already in jail. You may find it shocking to hear me admit that I have an uncle in jail, and it may surprise you to find out that he is my inspiration. But I am not ashamed one bit. I am actually quite proud. The Philippines has 7,107 islands. 15 years ago, Paco was 19 years old and was living in the city of Manila. In the Philippines, when a crime was committed on the island of Cebu, over 300 miles away. The crime was a double rape and murder of 2 sisters. No one really knows why, along with 6 others, Paco was accused of this crime. But it didn't matter at the time, because there was proof that he was in school, taking an exam, along with 35 other students who were willing to testify on his behalf. No one thought that Paco would ever be found guilty, because there was so much evidence on his side. But somehow, through the corruption of the Philippine justice system, Paco was found guilty and sentenced to death. Paco and his family fought really hard, but nothing seemed to work, until 9 years after his arrest, with the help of the Spanish government and the European Union, they were able to convince the Philippine president to abolish the death penalty. This changed his sentence to life in prison. 3 years after that, at the 12-year mark, the Spanish government convinced the Philippine government to transfer him to Spanish prison because he was a Spanish citizen. When he arrived in Spain, he immediately found a job in the computer room in the clinic of his new prison. His first paycheck of 70 euros, he sent back to the Philippines with clear instructions that the money is to be given to those that he had left behind. 5,250 days since his arrest, my uncle still sits in prison waiting for the day that he is let go. What inspires me about him is that he had stayed strong and never gives up. In fact, every day he tells himself and his fellow prisoners, if you want to give up today, tell yourself, I will give up tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, tell yourself the same thing. Paco never gave up, even in the worst living conditions of an overpopulated third world prison. He never accepted defeat and always had faith that he would someday be free. This last Christmas was his 3rd Christmas away from the Philippine jail. He could not stop thinking about those he had left behind. Some were sick and couldn't afford medicine. All were very poor. So Paco decided to write a letter to his family and friends to ask for donations that he would send back to his fellow prisoners in Manila. His plea raised $1,500. He wrote each prisoner a short note that said, "You are not forgotten. Merry Christmas from your Christmas angels." And in each note, he placed $100. It has been 15 years, and still, he thinks of others before himself. He hasn't lost hope or his sense of humor, and his outlook is still so positive. I can't wait for the day that he walks out of prison and I can finally meet him. Thank you.